Like, what made you put hands on Drake?
I did not put hands on Drake.
Oh.
And I do not want any problems with Drake. Drake is, right now, that's all I got. That's all I have to say. He's putting in his work. I didn't do nothing to Drake.
Well, you talked about how you found out that they're trying to set up Drake in LA at one point. What exactly was that about?
You know, and then Puff, that's what Puff was pulling me down to do it. But Puff can't even hear it. See, I know he couldn't.
Puff can't hear a hit? That's kind of crazy, Fifth.
He still hear things from back then, that time period.
Oh, got you now.
Right.
Okay. Got you.
He can't buy the record. He can't. You play it for him right now, and it's hot. He can't buy it. This is why he's fighting Drake. When you hit Drake, because he used the beat that he didn't actually use.
0 to 100.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So if he heard it, and then he heard Drake use it, but it wasn't a hit yet until Drake put the lines on it.
Welcome back to Fame Flux, where the truth behind fame gets exposed. In a jaw-dropping turn, Katt Williams has reignited explosive conversations surrounding the hidden world behind Diddy's private parties. But this time, the spotlight shifts to one of the biggest names in hip-hop, Drake. During a fiery, unscripted segment from an underground podcast appearance, Katt made the bold claim that he saw footage involving Drake not just attending Diddy's secret gatherings, but begging, pleading for something behind those velvet ropes. Williams didn't flinch when he said it. With that same unfiltered tone that rattled Hollywood earlier this year, he alleged that Drake's name came up in Diddy's alleged private tape collection, footage that's rumored to show powerful artists at their most vulnerable. What exactly Drake was begging for?
Everybody been knew Drake was soft and Diddy was insane. They was at a party once. Diddy said, "Drizzy!" Drake said, "Huh?" Boom! Smacks that boy. Diddy puts his hands on him. The crowd went, Now, how Drake be talking in his songs, the crowd was like, "Do you know who you're messing with, Diddy?" That's the sixth god himself. Everybody waiting in bated breath for Drake's response. Drake goes, "You better not do that again." Drake's boys go, what he meant to say was, and they hop in. A scuffle ensues. During the scuffle, somehow Drake gets his shoulder dislocated and they have to take him to the hospital. Now, you may be wondering why this makes Diddy insane. Well, that's because of how the scuffle ensued in the first place. You see, there was a song called 0 to 100.
Remains unclear. But according to Katt, it had nothing to do with music deals. These remarks come at a time when Diddy is already facing a tidal wave of legal troubles and public backlash. Katt's accusations paint a disturbing image of how fame, control, and loyalty may have collided behind the scenes. While the full context of these tapes is still buried beneath lawsuits and sealed investigations, Katt's story suggests the footage is more than just embarrassing. It could be career-ending. And the shock doesn't stop there. Katt hinted that several artists, not just Drake, were recorded in compromising situations. But calling out Drake by name, especially with the world watching Diddy's every move, might be the most dangerous claim Katt Williams has ever made. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into what these allegations really mean for Drake, how Katt may have gotten access to this information, and what industry insiders are now saying about the potential fallout. Katt Williams might have been onto something. One by one, major names in hip-hop are being dragged into the spotlight. And now, it's been reported that Drake's name appears in the infamous Diddy tapes, allegedly not just mentioned, but audibly present. According to sources, you can hear Drake screaming on one of the recordings. That allegation hit the internet like a thunderclap, but when you start connecting the dots, especially looking back at events as far back as 2014, the picture starts to come into focus. This ongoing Diddy investigation isn't just digging up old dirt, it's connecting long-overlooked moments into a timeline that finally makes sense. Rewind to December 8th, 2014. It was the early hours after a VMA after-party when everything shifted. Reports flooded in that Diddy and Drake had gotten into a heated confrontation outside the venue. According to several media outlets, things turned physical, fast. Diddy allegedly caught Drake slipping outside the club and delivered a brutal beatdown. Word spread that Drake had to be rushed to the emergency room afterward. Diddy later brushed the whole incident off, denying that he ever laid hands on Drake, playing it cool during interviews like nothing serious happened. But witnesses said otherwise. Even 50 Cent weighed in, throwing shots at Diddy and confirming something did go down that night.
No pun intended. That beat was supposed to go to Diddy. Diddy heard the beat and said, nah, I don't want to use this song. A couple months later, Diddy listens to the song again and goes, you know what? I kind of like it. He hits Drake up, says, Drake, can you make this song for me? Drake goes, of course, we're friends. Drake makes a song. Diddy listens to it and goes, I don't really like it. Drake goes, okay. So Drake releases a song, but not in a disrespectful way. He puts it up on SoundCloud as like a free throwaway song. The song blows up out of nowhere. Now, Diddy still didn't say anything about this until the song gets nominated for a Grammy. All of a sudden, Diddy goes, yo, yo, yo.
The fight, as reported, was sparked by one specific track, 0 to 100. Diddy reportedly believed the beat was his. Drake got to it first, flipped it, and turned it into a chart-topping anthem. That move, apparently, didn't sit well with Diddy. And that night in Miami, it became the boiling point. Now, years later, that confrontation might not have been just about music. And if the tapes confirm what's being whispered, this drama goes way deeper than a stolen beat. But that Miami incident wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. A warning shot. A moment where Diddy let off steam in public while playing a much colder game behind the scenes. What looked like a squashed beef on camera was reportedly still burning quietly in the streets. By August 2015, Diddy sat down with the Breakfast Club, smiling and claiming everything with Drake was all love. But according to sources across Los Angeles, that was far from the truth. The streets were saying something entirely different. Behind closed doors, Diddy allegedly put out a quiet reward, unofficial but understood. Anyone who caught Drake slipping in LA, there was a price attached. That's when people in the city started acting different. LA sources said the calls were coming in nonstop. Drake's at this club, Drake's leaving this spot. It wasn't just rumor, it was surveillance on the low. So Drake made a calculated move. He linked up with the Game. Known for his connections and credibility in Los Angeles, Game had real pull, especially when it came to street politics. Drake knew if Diddy had the reach in LA, he needed someone with the same muscle to balance it out. And Game? He played his hand carefully. According to Game, people reached out to him directly, asking him to line Drake up. But instead of betraying him, Game flipped the script. He protected him. But like anything in the industry, protection didn't come without a price. So Drake gave Game a major favor. He handed over the 100 record. The two shot the video in Compton, a location that carried symbolic weight. That wasn't about street cred. It was about showing unity in a place where division could be fatal. If you listen closely to the lyrics, Game didn't hold back. Ninjas called me to set you up, want me to come and wet you up, 'cause you out of town like Biggie. Then heard about the ish Diddy on. So I came through to vest you up. That bar wasn't for show. It was documentation, a receipt. Even with Game watching his back, Drake moved carefully. During the video shoot for 100, Whack 100 revealed that Drake got nervous, shook, when he saw unfamiliar faces show up. Panicked and unsure of who was who, Drake jumped into a van to leave the video shoot for 100. Even though the people surrounding him were there for protection, Drake wasn't taking any chances. Whack 100 reportedly had to chase him down, calm him down, and explain the situation before they could get back to filming. That moment speaks volumes about the tension surrounding Drake's movements during that time.
That's my song! Now, at that party where they got into that scuffle, Diddy tells Drake, hey, can we talk about the song? Drake goes, there's nothing to talk about. I don't want to have a conversation about this. And Drake leaves. Diddy follows him to the whip and says, don't run away when somebody's speaking to you. And that's when it ensues. Now, the sad part about all this is Drake didn't get his career ruined by this happening. Listen closely. Everybody knows Drake is so soft that when people heard that he got smacked, everybody said, well, that's expected. You feel what I'm saying? Like if Donald Trump does something crazy, everybody goes, oh, well, it's expected, so they let him get away with it. That's not what he wants. Like if Drake were to slip on a banana peel and his face falls on a pie, everybody be like, that darn Aubrey, doing it again.
He was no longer just a rapper. He was moving like someone who knew danger could be hiding behind any handshake. Now fast forward to today, Diddy is facing serious federal charges, and the courtroom has become ground zero for bombshell revelations. But it was what Cassie revealed on the stand that sent shockwaves through the courtroom and beyond. During her redirect, prosecutors asked what caused Diddy to lash out and allegedly put his hands on her. Her answer stunned the room. She was on her way to OVO Fest, Drake's annual music event in Toronto. According to Cassie, Sean came to my home and tried to attack me. But despite that confrontation, she still boarded her flight and attended OVO Fest. That move changed everything. The courtroom was silent. The implications? Heavy. If motive was unclear before, this put it on full display. Diddy reportedly believed Drake was crossing the line, possibly both professionally and personally. That suspicion wasn't unfounded in his eyes. A resurfaced 2013 rumor suggested Drake might have signed Cassie to his OVO label. Whether that deal was ever official didn't matter. In Diddy's mind, it was betrayal. Territory was being challenged, and emotions spiraled from there. Even Lil Duval's old tweet came back into the spotlight. At the time, he wrote, "I heard Diddy swung on Drake in Miami for saying hello to Cassie." It sounded like a joke back then, but now it feels more like a red flag everyone missed. And Drake? He'd been hinting at the tension all along, especially in his track 4 p.m. in Calabasas, with lyrics like, "All you self-promoters are janky. The higher I get, the less they accept me. Even the OGs try to press me." Then came the most direct jab. Take that," mocking Diddy's signature ad-lib. And the line, "No love in they heart, so they fake that?" Another coded shot. Even the song title itself, Calabasas, was a subtle jab at Diddy's territory. Drake wasn't running from the beef. He was documenting it in real time. With everything coming out in court and old footage resurfacing, the hip-hop world is starting to re-examine years of blurred lines, quiet feuds, and industry protection. What once looked like rivalry between artists now appears to be part of something far deeper, where loyalty, power, and fear all collided behind the scenes. As prosecutors continue their work, sources say more names tied to Diddy's inner circle could soon surface. And with Drake's name reportedly on the tapes, this isn't just about beef, it's about what those tapes might reveal. People are asking, what did Drake witness? What role, if any, did he play? Was he a bystander, a target, or something else entirely? One former industry bodyguard spoke anonymously and said Diddy's parties weren't just high-end gatherings, they were screen tests. People were watched, recorded, and sometimes pushed into situations they couldn't easily back out of. It wasn't just about music, he said. It was control. That makes the possibility of Drake being caught on tape even more intense, because if he was present, voluntarily or not, those visuals could change everything. The tapes, now in the hands of federal authorities, are reportedly being reviewed frame by frame, name by name. And it's not just the fans watching closely. Brands, partnerships, and major corporate entities are monitoring this case in silence. These companies have millions invested in the clean, curated images of their celebrity partners. If footage confirms involvement in any setting deemed inappropriate or legally questionable, the fallout won't just be in headlines. It'll be in canceled deals, dropped sponsors, and a reshaped legacy. For Drake, who spent over a decade building an empire based on calculated moves and cultural dominance, this moment is critical. The difference between being named and being seen is massive. One is rumor, the other is evidence. Until those tapes are confirmed or denied, the speculation will grow. Every lyric, every photo, every resurfaced clip is now being reevaluated. And the silence from Drake's camp? That's only adding to the tension. Because if what's on those tapes matches what's being whispered, hip-hop's most protected image could be walking a razor-thin line. Drake wasn't just laying down rhymes, he was telling a story. And now in hindsight, some of those lyrics are starting to sound like confessions wrapped in metaphor. Bars like, "That man is not a man for you, scared of letting your skeletons loose," hit different now. Fans are beginning to believe that Cassie may have confided in Drake long before any legal documents or courtroom testimony ever surfaced. Looking back, it seems Drake might have been hinting at more than just drama, possibly even signaling what was really going on behind closed doors, but most missed it. Until now. That brings it full circle to Katt Williams, the one voice that kept saying what others avoided. He said execs and rappers would be exposed, that voices, real ones, could be heard on the tapes, not just mentioned, but heard screaming. Back then it sounded wild, but with everything that's now been revealed, it no longer feels so far-fetched. Whether the tapes involve wild parties, disturbing calls, or something far more serious, the possibility of Drake being captured in any capacity raises major questions. Was he participating? Was he a witness? Or did he just find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time? Legal experts say the tapes remain sealed for now, but that could change once the trial wraps. And if Drake's voice is in fact part of what's on those recordings, screaming or not, this situation will explode beyond just hip-hop headlines. We're talking major cultural impact. Public opinion is already bubbling. One user posted, "If Diddy's bold enough to go after big names, imagine what he's done to people with no platform." Another added, "Diddy put hands on Drake and Cassie. He doesn't discriminate. It's all power and control." So now the question is on the table. Was Katt exposing something deeper, or was he just stirring the pot? Let us know your take in the comments. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. This story? It's not cooling down anytime soon.